Hello there, everyone. This is Mr. D coming to you from my place on the hill. Uh, this story, make sure you mark my little subscribe button down there, okay? Um, or else if you like or not like. But this story is about faith. Faith in what you're doing is the right thing. Are you following what God wants you to do? Are you doing what you want to do? Faith means you step out and you try to follow. And I think all of us people want to do the right thing. All of us kids want to do the right thing. You know, this story is about a little girl, probably maybe even related or is the same little girl as some of my other stories. And I'm going to call her Sally. Sally. Sally's a girl about 8 years old. And she had a question for her mother. And she asked her mother, what was so special about Christmas? Mother came back and told her, dear, I mean, that's when Jesus was born. That's when we celebrate Jesus. Well, she got inquisitive. She'd wondered about Jesus. Remember, they didn't go to church, and she didn't know exactly what to expect. But one day, when she was watching TV, she saw a cross on a cartoon. Now, she looked, this what she wrote here, she looked around for that cross and found that on Sunday afternoon that she found one. And when she found one, she decided she wanted to go to it. Okay? Now, she took 10 cents from mom's piggy bank. That wasn't good, but she did do it. And she left her mom a note, which was good. But she should have probably let her mom know a little bit ahead of time, but she didn't. And she went to the church. And she enjoyed Sunday school just so much. But she had a question. She was asking the question, but the Bible, the 10 commandments, it has says we should follow the commandments. And the commandments is the 7 days. Why are we going to church today on Sunday? Well, the teacher didn't know what to say. So the teacher sent her off to the pastor because the pastors always know what to say. So I went to the pastor and asked the same question. Well, the pastor said that it had been changed. And when she started asking more questions, he said, don't come back without a grown up. That's a good way that people sometimes get rid of children, They don't want to answer the question because they keep asking you and asking you and asking. They're trying to learn the truth about God. And this little girl was trying to find out why they weren't going to church on the Sabbath. Was there a good reason? I mean, she would follow that. But all she could find was that Jesus went to church on the seventh day. Well, the little girl knew it was too late for church. I think there's a part here. Yeah, this was a bad part. She gets home and finds out her mom gets mad, locks her up because she can't go to church. And you know what? I think that was on the day she was going to go to church and she couldn't go to church. So, but her brothers and sister came and helped her out. A good brother and sister, get you out of trouble. Well, it rolled along and the next weekend came. And guess what? She was looking and looking and looking and looking on Saturday. And she saw a church with cars around it. She said, that has to be the church to go to. Well, she went to that church, but the problem was going to that church required her to cross over this really dangerous bridge that would cross over. I'm not sure, but I think it crossed over a small river or something. It could have been a highway, but it was a bridge and they weren't supposed to go over it. And there was a church on the other side, a Sabbath keeping church, the very church that she was looking for, the one that her heart was driving her to. Well, she went there. She enjoyed it. She told her mom when she got home what she thought of it, and that this was the church for her. And her mother said, "You're not going back ever again." She found out that she was not her daughter at that time. Sad thing. Why would his foster mother come out and blare that to a child when children are so dependent on their parents, grandparents, and people taking care of them to bring such a sad thing and keep her from going to church? That doesn't make any sense. Well, it says here that somebody in the family was willing to take her off her foster mom's hand. So she went with her. But it wasn't exactly what she wanted, but she got away. And that foster parent was going to go ahead and make sure that she was able to go to church and she would be happy. Well, like I said, it didn't work that way. But she went on faith, this little girl. She went over the hill or the train track and around the corner, whatever it was, to this church. Kind of like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were told not to go, like this little girl. But instead of tied up, oh, I didn't mention, this little girl got tied up too by her foster mom. Or did I? Maybe I did. But like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they got in trouble for their belief, their following, their keeping with their God and not doing what they were supposed to do for the king. Now, we don't have a king here with this little girl, but this little girl was confined to her house, locked up, kind of like a furnace, because she wanted to go and be with God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wanted to be with God. But you know what? God was there all the time for them. Like God was there all the time for this 8-year-old little girl. This 8-year-old little girl grew up to be a very, very popular Sabbath school teacher for over 25 years. She brought children to the church, to God, like we all should. I think that we all should share our faith with others and be like Paul when he tried to preach to the Gentiles about faith and believing. You should be there. Well, I hope this children's story, or Bible story, or mystic story, however I want to classify this story, finds a spot in your heart to continue with what you believe. I mean, don't give up. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, bowing to the one and only Lord, did not give that belief up. This little girl believed that the Sabbath was the day she should go, and she drove. She committed herself to that, even though it locked her up. Now, being a teacher for God, or was she a teacher at that time to the elders and the people around her that they needed to stand up for what they believed for? May God be with you. Don't forget to mark my little subscribe button. Mr. D, God bless.